Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. Today it has been exactly 1 year since I started this lecture series. I hope these videos have helped improve your understanding of the internal styles and showdown. Thank you all for the support so far. I have no intention of stopping until I put everything I know into the public domain. I hope together we can help the community thrive. It's summertime in Montreal. The past couple of days have been really warm, if not hot. But I feel good if you live in typically warmer areas. You would sweat profusely after physical exercise. Traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM, believes Han wei Xingyi, or sweat, pertains to the fluid of the heart. In other words, sweat has a close relationship with blood. Blood, of course, has a very close relationship with the heart. So it indicates that sweating is closely associated with heart health. In other words, sweating profusely can adversely impact heart health. Let me be clear. I'm not talking about the concept of excessive sweating and heart conditions as in modern medicine. I'm talking about the sweating caused by excessive physical exercise or overtraining that may not be healthy for the heart, as per TCM concepts. Yes, of course, sweating does provide many benefits, such as detoxification. But still, we should try to maintain a balance between the benefits provided by sweating and the potential harm caused by overtraining in the summer. Personally, I try not to sweat much in the summer, but try to sweat more in the winter. Of course, that is just my personal choice, but I think it's important to share this TCM concept with you all so that you can make informed choices. In today's video, I'd like to talk about Tun Tu, an interesting topic used in Chinese martial art practice. Tun Tu is critical to achieve good practice, but unfortunately, it is not so well known. So let's change that today. Topics covered in today's video include: first, introduction to Tun Tu; second, Tun Tu in martial art practice; third, principle of Tun Tu; fourth, demonstration; and fifth, takeaways. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Topic 1. Introduction to Tun Tu. In Mandarin, Tun and Tu are two characters. Literally speaking, Tun is a verb which can be translated to swallow, while Tu is also a verb that can be translated to spit. Swallow and spit as a term does not make any sense in martial arts, so do not make the mistake of taking this term at face value. Now, let's look at the translation of Tun Tu in a martial context. Tun Tu categorizes martial art movement which involve receiving in and sending out. We all know that there are many movements in a martial art practice that involves the receiving in and send out effects. Tun is the term used to describe the movements used to absorb or neutralize an incoming attack, while Tu is the term used to describe the movements used to send the force back to your opponent after the neutralization of an incoming attack. In other words, Tun Tu, one literally translated to swallow and spit, are two mutually exclusive terms, but on the contrary, in the context of martial art, Tun and Tu work in tandem. Tun Tu can be found everywhere in the three internal styles. Many Tai Chi practitioners focus on this concept and believe that Tai Chi practice applies this concept a lot. Well, that is true. In my experience, Xingyi practice emphasizes Tun Tu even more than Tai Chi and Bagua. I can say Tun Tu is an all-pervasive concept in all of Xingyi. Of course, this may sound quite abstract to beginners, but with enough time and practice, I'm sure you will see what I mean. Focusing on Tun and Tu is the key if you want to make considerable progress in your Xingyi practice. To summarize, the term Tun Tu consists of two characters used to describe two contrasting categories of movements in martial art practice. Especially in self-defense situations, Tun is used for neutralizing an incoming attack, while Tu is used to follow up the Tun movements with an outward force release. Now, let's move on to the next topic, which will elaborate Tun Tu in more detail. Topic 2. Tun Tu in martial art practice. Tun Tu is a general practice of body movements, so it can be used to describe specific techniques as well as comprehensive combat strategies. Let me explain them one by one. First, Tun is an absorbing, receiving, or neutralizing movement in martial application. Since it is a martial art movement used in application, it is not so obvious to notice in form or single movement practice. This is one of the reasons it gets ignored by most practitioners. Specific movements are easy to practice, but observing principles during movements is the difficult part. I will introduce an exercise in the demonstration so that a principle can be practiced through a specific movement. For example, when someone punches you, you can either block the incoming attack or alternatively try a Tun technique. Let me be clear, blocking is not a Tun technique. In contrast to a conventional block, a Tun technique lets the attack further inward, but of course doesn't let this affect the body, or else Tun technique will be pointless. There are three Tun techniques you can use. First, without moving your feet, you bend your upper body in order to avoid the attack or contract your body, so shift your body weight backward. Second, lead the incoming force with your arm or hand and pull backward. Third, step backward slightly to create space between the incoming attack and yourself to avoid the impact. It is worth noting that all three techniques are very small but very fast movements. They involve very little to no physical displacement of your own body, or else those movements will no longer be considered Tun. Second, Tu is the opposite of Tun, usually applied as a follow-up for Tun techniques. Basically, there are two types of Tu techniques, no alteration intended. First, without stepping forward, the body extends forward and the instantaneous force is sent out through the body or the arm to the opponent's body. Second, step backward slightly, and the body and the arm apply the same technique as in technique 1. Just like Tun, Tu techniques are also small but fast movements. If the movement is big, it would not be considered Tu. The objective of a Tun is to evade direct attacks, absorb the incoming force, or neutralize the attack by changing the body structure or yielding. On the other hand, the objective of a Tu is to follow up on Tun or the neutralization of an incoming attack with an attack on the opponent. This is why Tun and Tu are a pair of techniques used in tandem. Tu techniques mostly utilize 寸劲 or inch force. In other words, you need to master 寸劲 or inch force in order to master Tu techniques. To summarize, Tun Tu signifies a high level of practice since it requires the practitioner to master the timing, angle, body movement, inch force, and the partner training. Well, you can begin practicing Tun Tu by yourself. You absolutely need a training partner to use Tun Tu effectively in self-defense situations. So, self-practice and practice with the partner are equally important in mastering Tun and Tu. Topic 3. Principle of Tun Tu. There are not many documents talking about this topic. I'm introducing this topic based on my practice and teaching experience. The following principles will help you improve your Tun and Tu practice. First, start with self-practice. Self-practice is important and can help you a lot, especially some movements that help you achieve the Tun and Tu techniques are the key contents of a practice. I will show a sample exercise in the demonstration section. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, Xingyi heavily emphasizes Tun Tu. But you need to pay conscious attention to Tun Tu in order to integrate it in your daily practice. So, in the beginning, you should focus on the opening and closing movements of your chest, hips, and arms. If you practice Tai Chi, you can notice many Tun Tu movements in Tai Chi as well. You can add Tun Tu to any Tai Chi movements. You can also apply Tun Tu to Bagua, especially Cheng-style Bagua. Let me quickly show you a couple of the sample demonstrations. There's a many Tun Tu movement in Tai Chi. For example, this one, okay? So here is the Tun, then here is the Tu, even single whip, right? Then here, then Tun, then Tu, right? Those kind of movement reflects Tun Tu technique in Tai Chi. Second, the key principle in Tun technique is to protect your center line from attacks. Attacks to the center line will dramatically increase your possibility of being unrooted by your opponents. So, in order to effectively apply Tun techniques, you should either lead the incoming force away from the center line or shift your center line itself or both. Third, while Tun techniques avoid attacks to your center line, Tu techniques, in contrast, target your opponent's center line. Also, in a Tu technique, the force generated will be released in a direction depending on your desired effect. In general, attacking your opponent's center line takes the priority. 4. No matter what technique, whether Tun or Tu, the movement should be very small but very fast. Practicing with a partner is necessary to gain a good sense of timing, angle, and other important factors in order to precisely apply Tun Tu. While Tun and Tu can be considered a combat strategy, beginners should focus on integrating Tun and Tu in specific techniques. Fifth, last but not least, do not forget the coordination between the movement and the mind. At the end of the day, this is the mind that directs the movement. I will talk about this part in more detail in the future. I can't emphasize enough, merely listening to or reading about a concept is just not enough. You should apply it in specific movements to get a comprehensive understanding. That brings us to the next section. Topic 5. Demonstration. Today, I will introduce one exercise for each internal style to help you master Tun and Tu. The exercise is from Dian's Xiang. I have a video introducing Dian on my channel titled Dian, a Legend, his Xingyiquan and Xiang. Link is in the description. If you have not watched it yet, I highly recommend you pause this video and watch it first. Also, I believe that among all of the Xingyi branches, Dian Xingyi treats and handles the Tun and the Tu the best. Furthermore, his Xiang even make it better. Hello, I'd like to demonstrate one single exercise from Dian's Xiang practice, a variation of Dian style Xingyi. This exercise is used to demonstrate to practice the Tun Tu technique and the principle. Okay, so you can keep your leg open at just wide a little bit in the shoulder rest. Then one palm move under, then strike, then keep moving, then keep moving. Important part is the coordination between the shoulder and the palm. One, two. Okay, you can put the force. Okay, or just do that slowly without force. Topic 5. Takeaways. Tun Tu is an advanced topic and relevant to all three internal styles. First, Tun and Tu are used in tandem to absorb the incoming attack and then send the force back to the opponent's body, especially targeting the center line. Second, Tun and Tu techniques are small but fast. Third, Tun and Tu require not only 寸劲 or inch force skill, but also other factors such as angle, timing, and experience. Fourth, while self-practice can be beneficial in the beginning, you need to train with a partner in order to master Tun Tu. Fifth, it is very important to pay close attention to the coordination between the mind and the physical movement. That brings us to the end of today's video. Thank you for watching. See you next time and enjoy your practice.